Hello everyone, how are you? Today we'll discover the story of a man who challenged one of the most powerful empires on Earth, without ever lifting a weapon. His name became a synonym for peace, justice, and freedom. But behind the icon was a human being full of contradictions, doubts, and almost superhuman discipline. This is the life of Mahatma Gandhi, the man who discovered that the most powerful force in the world lies not in weapons, but in truth. Part 1. Childhood and Roots, 1869-1891. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on October 2, 1869, in Porbandar, a coastal city in the state of Gujarat, Western India. His family belonged to the Vaishya caste, the merchants, but his father, Karamchand Gandhi, was a respected man who served as prime minister of several small principalities. His mother, Putlibai, was deeply devoted to Hinduism and practiced fasting, meditation, and compassion toward all living beings. From her, he inherited the values that would later define his philosophy: ahimsa, nonviolence, and satya, truth as an absolute principle. As a child, Gandhi was shy, fearful, and frail. He struggled to speak in public and wasn't an outstanding student. At the age of 13, by family tradition, he was forced to marry Kasturba Mukherjee, a girl his same age. Their relationship, initially full of jealousy and immaturity, would later grow into one of the strongest and most enduring bonds of his life. During adolescence, Gandhi went through a crisis of faith. He was tempted by the modern world, even tried meat, forbidden by his family, while torn between tradition and curiosity for the unknown. When his father died, he felt a deep urge to be worthy of his name. So in 1888, he left for London to study law. He was only 18, with a tremendous desire to learn. At first, in the British capital, he felt out of place, with his Indian clothes and timid demeanor, but soon adapted. He studied diligently, became a vegetarian by conviction, and joined spiritual societies. He read authors like Tolstoy, Thoreau, and John Ruskin, who deeply influenced him. From them, he took ideas that later became the soul of his philosophy: simple living, manual labor, and moral resistance to injustice. In 1891, he graduated as a lawyer and returned to India full of hope. But the path ahead wouldn't be easy. Part 2. Early Failures and Learning, 1891-1893. Back in Bombay, Gandhi tried to start his law practice, but his shyness was such that he could barely speak before a judge. The British treated him condescendingly, and many clients didn't trust a young, inexperienced lawyer. He tried to work in Rajkot, his hometown, but couldn't make a living. At 23, with no money and no clear direction, he received an unexpected offer. An Indian company in South Africa needed a legal advisor. He accepted, without realizing that trip would change his destiny, and that of millions of people. Part 3. South Africa. The Awakening of a Fighter, 1893-1914. Gandhi arrived in Durban in 1893, hired by an Indian company. Just days later, he experienced something that marked him for life. On a train to Pretoria, holding a first-class ticket, a white passenger demanded that he be removed. Gandhi refused, and was thrown off the train. That night, cold and alone at the station, he realized he could no longer stay silent. He decided to remain in South Africa and fight racial discrimination through nonviolent means. He organized communities, marches, and public campaigns against unjust laws that, for example, forced Indians to carry registration documents. He was imprisoned several times, but each arrest only strengthened his moral authority. During those years, he founded Tolstoy Farm, a self-sufficient community based on equality and simple living. There, people worked, studied, and prayed together, regardless of caste, religion, or gender. His movement gave birth to the concept of satyagraha, the force of truth, a form of resistance that doesn't aim to destroy the adversary, but to transform them through moral example. Gandhi also showed his human contradictions. During this time, he held problematic views about the black population, whom he considered culturally inferior, though later in life he acknowledged and revised those prejudices. After more than 20 years in South Africa, he returned to India in 1915. admired and respected. Part 4. Return to the Homeland and the First Movements, 1915 to 1930. Upon his return, he was welcomed as a national hero. But Gandhi didn't seek fame. Instead, he traveled across villages, listened to farmers, and learned about the real problems of the people. He began leading local struggles. In Champaran, he helped peasants exploited by British indigo plantations. In Ahmedabad, he mediated between striking workers and employers. Each conflict turned him into a symbol of social justice. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919 was a turning point. British troops opened fire on a peaceful crowd in Amritsar, killing hundreds. Horrified, Gandhi broke completely with the empire and launched the non-cooperation movement, urging Indians to abandon British jobs, schools, and courts. He promoted the use of khadi, hand-spun cloth, as a symbol of economic independence. Spinning became a political act. To weave was to rebel. However, when some protesters killed policemen in the Chauri Chaura incident, Gandhi suspended the movement and took full moral responsibility. For him, independence without peace and discipline was meaningless. During this time, he simplified his life to the extreme. He wore only a loincloth and a shawl he spun himself. He adopted fasting as a form of spiritual purification and political protest. His message was clear: be the change you wish to see in the world. Part 5. The Salt March, 1930. In 1930, Gandhi launched one of the most memorable campaigns in modern history, the Salt March. He walked 388 kilometers, from his ashram in Sabarmati to the Arabian Sea, to make his own salt and defy the British monopoly. Thousands joined him along the way, and the entire world watched in awe. On April 6th, when he reached the sea and lifted a handful of salt, it became a universal symbol of freedom. The British response was harsh. Over 60,000 people were imprisoned, including Gandhi himself. But the image of a barefoot old man defying an empire spread across the globe. Soon after, he signed the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, which freed political prisoners and opened the door to peace talks. Part 6. Tensions, War, and Disagreements, 1931-1945. Gandhi traveled to London for the Second Round Table Conference, representing the Indian National Congress. He was received with respect, but his proposals failed. Upon his return, he faced growing divisions within the movement. His stance on the caste system was ambiguous. He condemned untouchability and called the Dalits children of God, but never sought to abolish the caste system entirely. This created tensions with reformist leaders like B.R. Ambedkar, the champion of the untouchables. During World War II, Gandhi condemned violence on all sides. In 1942, he launched the Quit India movement, demanding the immediate withdrawal of British rule. He was imprisoned along with his wife Kasturba, who died in custody, a loss that deeply affected him. Meanwhile, differences grew with Jawaharlal Nehru, who dreamed of a modern, industrialized India, while Gandhi defended a rural, self-sufficient, and simple society. Part 7. Independence and Tragedy, 1945-1948. By the end of the war, the British Empire was weakened. Internal and international pressure made independence inevitable. But religious tensions between Hindus and Muslims led to the partition of India in 1947, creating Pakistan. Gandhi fiercely opposed the division, but couldn't prevent it. Independence, his lifelong dream, came with a wave of violence that killed hundreds of thousands and displaced millions. As chaos spread, Gandhi walked barefoot between warring communities, fasting to stop the bloodshed and preaching peace. Many called him a traitor for seeking reconciliation with Muslims. On January 30th, 1948, in New Delhi, as he headed to a prayer meeting, he was assassinated by Nathuram Godse, a Hindu extremist who accused him of weakening India. His last words were, "He Ram, O God." Part 8. Philosophy, Contradictions, and Legacy. Gandhi wasn't a saint, but a deeply human being. He had mistakes, doubts, and contradictions. His experiments with truth included extreme tests of celibacy that even his followers questioned. But his quest was sincere. He sought to conquer desire, purify his mind, and live according to his ideals. His satyagraha, the force of the soul, inspired millions. He proved that civil disobedience, peaceful resistance, and truth could defeat an empire. His philosophy influenced Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, the Dalai Lama, and many others who made nonviolence their banner. It also left a profound mark on ecological, feminist, and pacifist movements of the 20th and 21st centuries. His legacy lies not only in India's independence, but in the universal idea that peace is stronger than violence. As he once said, "Truth is my God, and nonviolence is the means to attain it." Mahatma Gandhi changed the world without firing a single bullet. His life proved that the greatest power doesn't lie in armies, but in conscience and example. Today, his figure remains a beacon for those who seek justice without hatred, freedom without violence, and power without domination. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comment, give it a like, and share it. Catch you next time as we reveal another life. Behind the character.